Hello, peeps. Wow, a lot of people have a lot to say about the Leah Rimini aftermath show, haven't they? I've just been looking at quite a few of the videos on YouTube about what people are saying about it. Do I share the opinion of thousands and thousands of other people? I mean, am I going to just fall into line and accept what everyone else is saying? Only to a point. And that is that maybe within the control of most religions that are considered to be cults, yes, I can see that there's a control of the masses and there's a certain way of doing it. And there's evidence to suggest that most religions that were under discussion adopt this principle. But I don't share everything that people are saying. I'm prepared to stick to what I believe is right on this particular situation. And I'm not going to discredit the Jehovah's Witnesses and heap a load of fiery coal on their heads at this stage. They're certainly not perfect. I didn't expect them to be perfect. I mean, when has God and Jehovah used anybody throughout history that was a perfect specimen? There's never been an example that he's ever used anybody that was totally perfect. The most perfect person that we know about was Jesus when he came to the earth. But most other prophets that have upheld biblical principles and tried to live by Christian values have indeed been flawed characters. Now, if an organization today is being used by Jehovah, we have to ask ourselves, who is it? Who is the organization that he's using? Because I believe he must be using somebody. Because I believe that, and I keep saying this, I believe that his will is still on track and we will see it unfold shortly. I believe this. You may not share this opinion, but I certainly believe it. So all I can deduce from watching and listening to the many thousands of comments and people sharing their opinion on the Leah Rimini aftermath show is that they sort of have an axe to grind. A lot of them will be disfellowshipped. So they're not wanted by the Jehovah's Witness religion because they've been disfellowshipped. So they've not kept to the standards. So they've been ousted, thrown out. I know what that's like. I'm not disfellowshipped now, but in the past, about 25 years ago, I think I suffered a small disfellowshipping and then I got reinstated. So I understand that where you're coming from, you can sort of grind an axe on your former religion if they seem to be saying they don't want you. And that's certainly the case of most of the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that took place and took part on the show. And a lot of them were discussing their past families and even showing pictures and stories of their past, probably without the consent of the attending Jehovah's Witness families, which I found was a bit overstepping the mark. I wouldn't have liked to have upset my mum and dad that way, that's for sure. But the fact remains, if you're saying now that Jehovah's Witnesses are most definitely a false religion, then you must also say why they're the only ones that have the unique message. They are the only ones that are prepared to say that it's God's kingdom that will come and put an end to the current government and system of things. And thus they preach according to a biblical command. They will keep preaching until they're told they can't preach no more. And then after that, they'll be probably given a new message, much the same way as Jeremiah was given a message when he visited Nineveh. So, as good as what the program was, and the people that took part in it who have been directly affected, and they told their stories, we have to now decide if Jehovah's using anybody at all. Or is it just one great, huge deception that occurred many, many thousands of years ago, and it's just been perpetrated and propped up to this day. I wouldn't like to think it was a huge deception. To have a belief in God is quite a good thing. I find that if you try and live a better life, you're much happier within yourself. And if it means having a belief in God and living by biblical principles, which a lot of us find very difficult to do because there are so many distractions. So I would just like to end this by saying that I don't automatically just fall in line with what many, many thousands of other people seem to be accepting. For me, it just doesn't ring true, the amount of apostates that have arisen. I keep thinking that the Bible most definitely forewarns us that apostasy will be on the increase in the last days. I'm just wondering whether this is all part of biblical fulfillment and prophecy. And if it is, that's why I would like to use a lot of caution at this stage and not to swallow hook, line and sinker everything that is coming from the tube. Just add a little bit of caution. There's nothing wrong with that. Tread carefully, because there could well be a twist in the tail yet. Just when you think someone is out and not responding, you're met with a surprise, and they do something that you don't expect. And I feel as if maybe something like that is going to occur. But we'll see. Right, just leave it there. Bye-bye.